And thank you so much for joining us for another edition of All Angles. I'm Dion Jackson Miller. So we're in the middle of one of the most exciting sporting events from a Jamaican perspective. Okay, I admit I'm biased. The World Athletics Championships, and everywhere you go this week, you can find a track and field argument going on. So we have 4 of our own for you that we're going to be putting to our guests in studio. We want to hear you weigh in as well. So WhatsApp us, it's 3810072, or you can tweet us at TVJ All Angles. And in studio with me, I have from our sports department, Jordan Fort, as well as Denise Walters. Also joining us, track and field announcer, no man, may I have to say, international track and field announcer and sports analyst Donald Smith, as well as super fan and attorney at law, Andre Kaur. I'm not reading what's on the screen, and I'm giving them my own description. So as I said, we do want to hear from you as well. So to kick off, we're going to have a different topic for each segment. And our question in our first segment is, are our men back to performing with the very best in the world? And let's start out by hearing what some members of the public had to say.
I think the male, they're not up to par as yet. You know, they're young, so they need more time to mature. That's what I feel.
The guys ever get very backward in Jamaica, especially Jamaica sprinting. They lost a touch of sprinting right now.
Sprinter goes and sprinter come. So you can't look out for anything.
Well, to be honest, all the long jump, we are going good. Nobody talk about that part there. I hope the man relay, I hope them come in like the last time when we'd have a first, second and third.
Okay, so let me ask Jordan to kick off in this segment. So what do you think? Are our men back?
Yeah, I like the response from the last interview there, Dion, because she mentioned the long jump. And I think when you ask the question, I think most people just default to sprints, right?
Yes.
But if you want to focus on sprints, you know, for the second year running, we had somebody in the 100-meter final, which is, I think, how we judge in Jamaica or track and field. You know, unfortunately or fortunately, it's our favorite event. But we have men who are competing well all over the track.
Well, before you go to all over the track and field, though, I mean, let me contextualize with the quote that I know you all are aware of. Usain Bolt 2 years ago, when we didn't have a finalist in Tokyo, and he said, it really bothers me to know this is where we are now, where most of the world is ahead of us. He said, I'm disappointed because I think we have the talent. It's just to harvest it and people to take the training seriously and get it done. And everybody said, whoa, you know, Bolt is disappointed with what's going on. Where does that leave us?
Yeah, I mean, all right. So if you're looking at the 100 meters specifically, Dion, 9 Jamaican men sub 10 this year, which is the mark that we use to, you know, qualify elite sprinters. If you look back at 2022, only 4. And if you look back at 2021, 1. So that says something to you, right? That's progress. None of the 9, by the way, this year are Johan Blake, who is very experienced, who is the youngest ever world champion from 2011, double Olympic silver medalist. We know all his accolades. Second fastest man, joint second fastest man in history. So none of the 9 are Johan Blake. And I say that to say that it means that there's a new generation coming through. This year alone, we've seen so many new names. The national champion is Rowan Watson, new name. A new name to the sub-10 club, Raheem Ford. You know, so we're seeing that, and we saw Kadrian Goulson, we saw Kishane Thompson. So we saw all of those athletes coming to the fore in the 100. The 200 is a little bit more disappointing, I'll admit. And it doesn't seem like a number of our 100-meter sprinters, male sprinters, are really that interested in running the 200 right now.
All right, let me let somebody else jump in. And as well, you know how Jamaicans stay, right? So they're listening to you and they're saying, okay, we have all of these men running sub 10, but me not see nobody in the middle. So what is going on? Donald?
Well, you know, on the international level, the thing is that when it comes on to the hundreds, you know, it's still a very competitive space. You look at what is taking place in the US, you look across into Europe, you look across to Asia, the Japanese, the Chinese, they're doing well. And you have to look at the fact that it still will take some time for us to go beyond getting into the final. and to medal. And I think the last 2 years, we have at least had, 3 guys. 1 last year in Eugene and 2 this year in Ford and Seville in Budapest. And what it means, there's a progression, there's a gradual progression that will get us to that medal. Yes, most of us would have wanted that medal this year, but these things take time, and depending on where your training is and how you approach a final, you know, that can dictate how things go. Because, put it this way, Seville has now been in 3 major championships. The experience that he has gained from that, one should expect some form of success in terms of a medal for next year, God's willing, at the Paris Olympics if he goes. Raheem Ford has now gotten that experience as well. So when you look at it, them getting that experience at the championship level, which is very hard, you know, because being in a final, there's so much pressure. It's not like your national championships where you're used to the people. This is something bigger where there's so much pressure. People are saying Seville is going to get this. He's putting that pressure on himself. He has to now run his own race as well. And then sometimes things just don't come together.
You're lining up with people who for you are legends in the sport. Let me let Denise jump in and comment as well on Jordan's point about the 200.
Andrew Hudson is the Pan American the NACAC gold medalist, and he has a NACAC relay bronze medal as well. But to his point, we see Rashid Dwyer, who has been the Pan Am Games silver medalist. There hasn't been much transition in the 200 meters outside of a Johan Blake per se. So Jordan is right about that. Unfortunately, that's where we're at. But when you look at the progression since Usain made that statement, I spoke to Raheem after the trials, and he said to me, all the things that young men do at this age, I put it aside and I buckled down and I focused. I got a PB, and he PB'd again at the World Championships. Oblique equaled his personal best as well at the World Championship, and they're just out of high school. Like maybe 2019, Raheem was a silver medalist behind Oblique. 2018, he was a silver medalist behind Tyreek Wilson. So they're pretty much just out of school. Rohan Watson as well, 21, 22, 23, that's the age group. And when you look at those coming behind them, Akeem Blake is the NACAC 100 meters champion. Kadrian Golston is the World University 100 meters champion. Boajian Krume is the World Under-20 silver medalist, the Pan Am Games junior silver medalist. And Shaquan Gordon just recently won bronze at the World Youth Commonwealth Games under 18. So it's coming. The medals will get there. We will come back to the medal table.
Let me bring you in to comment on that now, Andre.
Yes, just to pick up on that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I should have said for our viewers, you mentioned NACAC, and that's NACAC, North American, Central American, and Caribbean Championships. Yes, Andre.
Right, so to just continue on that point, it's very important for us to look at the age of our 100-meter sprinters at this point in time. Last year, the 100-meter champion, Fred Curley, when he won, he was around 27. This year now is about 26. When we look at our top sprinters, I think Julian Fort is our only sub-10 sprinter who is over 26 years old. The bulk of them, almost all of them, are between 20 to 22 years old. We have a teenager amongst the pack. And when you look at
just a few years from boys champs.
Just a few years from boys champs. When you look at the winning time this year, 9.83, you look at what our sprinters are capable of: 9.86, 9.89, 9.91. We see that we are now much better than where we were when Usain just left the fold. Jordan is actually correct though about the 200, that there is that gap. Dwyer has been carrying it for the bulk of, in terms of the local sprinters who are able to compete internationally. And since last year, we now have added Andrew Hudson. Outside of those two, we really don't have any of 200-meter sprinters right now who are capable of stepping up. But we do see some who are in the wings. Brian Neville, for example, is one that many of us will have our eyes on as somebody who we can look to see coming to the fore in the very near future.
Okay, so would it be reasonable to say you're all optimistic?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, to say optimistic is one thing, but you have to just look at the trends. And it's trending up.
You're saying the optimism is fueled by data.
Exactly.
Okay. But hold on.
He also ran the same time Zarnell Hughes ran, and the silver medalist in that race, but he just placed fourth.
All right, well, hold on. We're going to take the break, and when we come back, we turn our attention to the women. Remember, want to hear from you as well. 3810072. Soon come.